Hello guys, welcome to the new edition of this particular YouTube channel, Mr. Ade Ayobet Predict. In this particular video, I'm going to put you guys through how to make predictions on basketball over and all done using a particular simple betting strategy. If you happens to be a basketball betting lovers, this particular video is for you. We all know that basketball games can be unpredictable, but to some extent, this particular betting strategy will really help you to work out your stuffs. In case you happen to be someone that cannot really do your own analysis or check the average stats of games by yourself, this particular process will really help you a lot. So this particular method happens to be a method that I just discovered in replace of a a particular betting strategy of doing the average stats, and this particular process always take a lot of time. So this particular process, it happens to be available for people that are using this particular best platform. Alright, so I have a particular game running, another basketball prediction games running. So I'll be picking some games from this and use it as an example for how to make your predictions. Actually, I'm not saying that this particular process will give you 100%, but at least it will help you to improve your gaming. Now we are going to pick one game from this particular running ticket and we are going to do the analysis on it. So most of the games that you guys are seeing, it happens to be under and we have the over in it. But let us first go for the under prediction and let's see what I consider. It is a very simple strategy and very fast. I don't look much into their previous results. I only look into an already provided figures from this particular star app. All right, now, so all bet platforms have their own way of providing their customers with stats of games. Some may be accurate and some may not be accurate, but to some extent this particular bet platform is what I use sometimes. That is, if I just want to quickly play basketball games, and I click on the stats to check the last previous games and the data for their historical performance. And when we are to look at it, we always have different segments of the data provision from this particular bet platform. So we have the aspect of the form, we have the aspect of the the difference, the point difference with other teams, and we always have their last previous games against each other. So in case I want to be doing the analysis, like if I want to be doing the calculation by myself, that is when I mostly consider all this particular aspect that I told you guys about. But if I just want to check their average stats using only the average points provided by this particular platform, I will just have to scroll down and to check the average points scored and average points conceded. And if I'm to look at it very well, and I see that the common points that I'm seeing here, if I should sum it up, it won't exceed a particular certain range of points. For example, in this particular situation, as I look at it, I mainly look into the average points that they've considered and scored, and I noticed that very commonly, so sometimes we have something like 77 stuffs, we have 80, we have 77, and we have 82, and this is giving me a kind of a kind of idea that this particular game should be ending up in something around maybe 160 something or 150 something. But if I want to predict my under points or over points, I should be going for this particular game as probably over 140 or under 170. But yeah, depending on the range of points that the bookmakers are providing for you, this particular process happens to be a very lazy process, but it is actually working out so well. If I want to do in-depth analysis on this particular stuff, we have to look into their last previous games against each other, the common points that you can find there or the average point that you can find there, and we have to check the last 5 games against other team, and we can see that here. So this was one beautiful thing about this particular bet platform, is that they will provide you a range of ranges of data, some data that you can actually apply to predict your games. But sometimes if you make use of all the data in life, the games can still end up in the other way. But I think the easiest way to to make your prediction very fast and successful is using this particular segment sometimes. So in this kind of situation, what I always do is that if I see that okay, I'm seeing something like 70 or maybe 70 something plus, and I'm seeing something like maybe 70 here again or 80, or I'm seeing 80 something all through games like that, I always go for, if the bookmakers are providing something like maybe over 149 150, I can actually go for it. And if the bookmakers are providing something around maybe under 170, let us check the, for example, this particular game, I can actually go for probably around something like under 170, or if I want to go for it, I can go for maybe over 140 points. But if the bookmakers will provide the point here, it actually depends on how they extend the point, like how they lower the point for you. In case we have a situation like this, I can actually predict this particular game as over 140 something or over 145, something like that. But the lowest point that the bookmakers are providing happens to be 1.42 for over 153. And in other words, if I want to go for predicting under, unless I want to risk it, that is when I can predict it as under 160 something. This particular game is supposed to be predicted as under 170, or you go for over 140 something. But in this situation, we are having something around the lowest or the highest point odd they are giving here happens to be 167.5. And if at all I'm going to risk this particular game, I rather prefer going for under 167.5. So for the over point, it is very very simple. Everything is very simple. Just look into the common, like the common average point scored. If you're having something like this, because if you are to add this thing up, you are getting 150 something, and if you are to add this thing up, you are getting something very close to maybe 160, but commonly 150, around 150 something range. So this game is giving us an insight that okay, this game should fall within the range of 160, 160 plus, or 150 plus, or 140 plus. So for going for the over, I will advise you guys going for over 140, and going for the under, I will advise you guys going for under 170. And that is how this particular thing has been working out for me. So in case you have any question regarding to this particular process of basketball prediction on over and under, you can actually drop it in the comment section. We have different method of doing your analysis on basketball games, but this one happens to be very fast and easy. If it happens that you happen to be someone that does not always have the time to do all the analysis and something like that, you can actually make use of this particular process to predict your basketball over games and under. Basketball game is a very complex game that if you apply the normal um, average point in the last 5 games of the against other teams and against each other, there's this particular probability that the game may not even end up the way you want it. But at least with this particular process, I've been able to see some kind of a good outcome from it. And if you guys are trying to bet on basketball, I would like to also advise you guys to bet with amount that you can afford, to stick with. So all right, so in case you have any question, kindly just drop it in the comment section. See you guys in the next video. If you are just joining us, make sure you subscribe to this particular channel and like our video. Bye.